Yes, well, back with you. Hello again, Jim Burns. What we got going on here today is a very sad case of Lionel dump car, log dump. This is the 336155. I got this many, many years ago at a yard sale. It was thrown in a box with a broken caboose. The caboose's shell was trash, but the chassis and the trucks, everything was still good on it. So what I did is the box was marked free, but I gave the guy a couple bucks to help him out with his yard sale. But I just felt so bad for this log car, and we're missing the log cradle here, so we can fix that. The the plastic's in very good shape. There's no cracks. Lettering's nice. We still got our brake wheel there. Nothing's warped. The steps are all there. So we're missing just the cradle, and that would flip towards us here with this spring steel as the hinge. It catches two little bosses underneath this spring steel here, and then that just acts as a hinge. But this car here, this is the later one, probably 1959, 58, 59, because it doesn't have the magnetic electric couplers. This is tab couplers on the trucks. So that would put it later. And the other reason that I would think it's probably 59 is because this would be a variation B. If I'm remembering correctly, I think it's a variation B. The drive gear here, in the first version, the earliest version, I think that is a white gear, and then the variation B was the black. And if I remember, there was another version or two, and I think they had orange gears. But anyway, I hope I got that right. If not, somebody can correct me. But yeah, I just felt terrible for this thing. It's got some rust, of course. Yeah, I don't know where it was sitting, but all our wiring needs replaced. As you can see here on our truck, oh, this is how it all came. I didn't do anything to this. It's just a mess. Let me get back down this way a little bit. So this set of wheels is off. And like I say, our wiring is in need of replacement. So we'll do that. We'll unsolder that from our slide shoe. There's the slide shoe right there. Alright. There's the spring, keeps pressure on that slide shoe as it rolls into our uncoupler / unloader track here. So that's it. That's still in good shape. Everything's in one piece there. Nothing's bent. Our armature spring here, it's all filthy, of course. That's the armature spring. There's the armature rivet. This is the actual armature. This piece here connects to the tab to unlock your coupler. That's the armature, and then this is the base plate, and then this is the slide shoe. But those are the parts there, and so that's in good shape. The only thing that's in bad shape here is at the back. If you can see, let's see. right here. The tab is missing. Somebody was trying to get the wheels off and they broke that tab. This one's still there, but as you can see, they bent this whole section here. We'll straighten that back up. We'll try to see if we can save this tab here, but we're gonna have to repair this. I'll show you how I'm gonna do that. I've only run into this probably 3 times in all my years, and each time I just fix it the same way. So I'll show you how to do that. It's not a common fix because people usually just replace the truck and move on, but if you know me by now, I will rescue it until I can't rescue it any longer. So we'll get this fixed. We'll get this straightened up. We'll replace our wire. Our side frames, they're in good shape. Nothing wrong with them. A little dirty, of course. We'll get that all cleaned up. We'll soak all this in mineral spirits and get everything cleaned up. It's pretty filthy in there, so we'll get that cleaned up with mineral spirits. Yeah, everything looks good. It's dirty, of course, but everything's solid, nothing's loose, so that part's good. And like I say, we'll replace all our wiring here because this is ancient now, and this truck is in good shape. The slide shoe's a little off kilter. We'll pull this truck off and see what the problem is in there. It's probably just the springs cattywampus in there. We'll see how we can remedy that situation. It still goes up and down. Oh, there it goes. Just needed pushed on a couple times. Might have to work with the spring a little bit to keep that from twisting like that. So we'll get that fixed. Like I say, this coupler works too. Nothing wrong with that. Dirty, of course. Here's the underside of our mechanism. It's just a stepped mechanism, and that allows the cradle just to come up a little bit at a time with each push of the unloader button. The cradle with holding the logs will just come up a little bit at a time, and then at some point they'll finally roll off the cradle. This doesn't snap open all at once or snap up all at once like the earlier version of this car. So I can't remember the number of that earliest version. But anyway, this coil is still in good shape. I tested it way back then and I remember it still worked. We got some plastic and hair down in there. We'll clean all that out. Other than some rust, we'll try to clean that up. And as you can see, there's little tabs up here, and then the truck will slide up, and then it'll push these tabs in, and then when you get the truck all the way up here, these tabs will snap back open and capture the truck and hold it in place. So that's what that's for. We don't have to do anything to that. That's still in good shape, both sides. Both tabs are in place. And you can see it's just got three tabs here that hold it into the frame. And we'll bend those down a little. Sorry, I lost my microphone, but we'll bend those down and make them a little tighter. As you can see, this one's sitting pretty flat there. So we want this one to be the same way. And that's a little bent up there. Just they were probably wrestling with it to get the truck off. So we'll get this all cleaned up. and hopefully get this puppy back on the rails. I mean, it's almost enough to bring a grown man to tears. This is sad, sitting in that box like that. But anyway, here's our wheels. I know why they did this. They took this apart, they cleaned everything. I don't know what they were headed for with this, maybe to replace the wire at some point. But anyway, once they got the side frames off, what you discover on these is that on this style of truck, the axle is cinched on either side of the wheel. You can see it right there. You can see how it's cinched there, and it's cinched on the inside. Same thing. See that at the end of my fingernail, thumbnail? So it's the same on this side too. You can see that. And then that prevents the wheel from coming off. Now in other types of trucks, these wheels will just slide off. They use the side frames to hold the wheels in place, but these were captured by that cinching of the axle. And then, so they probably discovered that, realized they couldn't get the wheels off this way, so they tried to straighten the tab up and broke it. So, but we can fix it. We have the technology, folks. So let me get this stuff all in a mineral spirits bath, and we'll be back with it. Okay? Alright, so here's our truck here. Got her out of the mineral spirit. She's all shiny, cleaned up, looking good. Alright, coupler still works. So we're in good shape with that. Fingernails are filthy from the cleaning it, but we'll have to deal with that. So I'm gonna clamp this slide shoe with our vice grips here. A little tighter than that, not too tight, it's just plastic, we don't want it to break. A little tighter than that. And then this will hold it for us while we're unsoldering our wire here. Okay. So that's our next plan of action here. Let me get the soldering iron fired up. Alright, I think we're hot enough now. Should be able to just hit this real quick. Get that insulation out of the way. There we go. There she is. Alright. And that's all there is to that. So we'll replace this wire. That's in bad shape. So we'll get rid of that. And then what I want to do next is work on straightening out this part that they bent here, and then the brake on that tab right there. So let's get to work on that. Okay, I took our vice grips off here. I think I should be able to bend this back in shape using our needle nose here. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. I'll just get her to cooperate here. Alright, that looks pretty darn straight to me. Alright, so let's do our other end here. It's bent out just a hair. And get that bent back up in shape before we fix that tab. All right, there we go. So that looks pretty darn good. All right, excellent. If we take our wheels, slide them back in there. Get them past that tab there. See how she lines up with that. Okay, that looks pretty good right there. I think we're in good shape with that. Alright, so now all we got to do is fix this piece right here, and we'll get back to that in a moment. Alright, I got our truck clamped into our vice grips here. Got some balsa wood there to protect the coupler, and don't want to scratch that up. But I've taken the time to remove the blackening from the sheet metal here on the base of our truck here, where that missing tab is. Okay, sorry about that. I thought I hit record, but I didn't. But all I did was I cleaned off this part of the base plate there and gave it some flux and tinned it with some solder. And then what I also did was I took a paper clip. These are steel paper clips, and makes good project material. This is a large one. So I just straightened it out, cleaned it up. I tinned the underside here, and then this will fit on here right about there. All right, and then that will hold our axle in place. We can make fine adjustments after it's all soldered on there, and then I'll cut the excess off, but this gives me something to hold on to while we're soldering. All right, so I think we're hot enough on our iron. We'll bring that over here. I keep this iron at 500 degrees for this kind of work. When you're heating up more than just wire. All right. So hopefully, let me get this hot first, and then we'll move on to try to get everything in place here. There we go. Yeah, that gets hot real quick. Okay, she looks good. She's on there tight, just not snapping off. We'll let that go ahead and cool down. Get a nice strong joint. Anyway, you can see that there. And then we'll trim this tab off if we need to. We really don't need to, but we can. We'll straighten it up a little bit. That's what's nice about these paper clips. They're pretty stout and but bendable, easy to work with. So we'll continue on with that. All right. Let's give that time to cool down. Okay, I think she's cool enough that we can clean off some of the flux here. All right. Well, we can clean that up once the don't forget in here, this is now coated with flux. I've got to get all that out of there. We'll do a better job when I take it out of the clamp here. All right. So let me grab my nippers here. All right. Should be easy enough to cut. There we go. Get that out of the way. All right. Let's see. Now we could straighten this out a little bit. A little too much. All right, there we go. Okay, she's all soldered on, and that will hold our axle in place. All right. What it looks like from the other side. So a nice, simple fix to a big problem. All right. Very good. I think what we'll do now is we'll put our wire in here. So let me get, that's down in the basement, of course. Can't be up here where I need it. So let me run down there, I'll get the wire and we'll be back. All right, I got our slide shoe clamped again in our vice grips here, very gingerly. And see about getting our wire soldered in. Get the camera adjusted there. There we go. All right, and then this is that 22 gauge Superflex wire Lionel makes, and it's really nice stuff. I use it on everything, whistles, any kind of pickup, lights. It handles it very well. All right, so let me get it dipped into the flux here. We'll tin this wire as soon as we clean off our soldering iron here. That looks pretty good. All right. Get that in the picture. All right, very good. Now that we've got that tinned, we can clean this off a bit. Once again, our alcohol swabs here. All right, very good. Now we don't need it that long, but it's better to cut it after you tin it, because you know the insulation is going to back away a little bit from the heat. So I'll just cut that off like that. All right. Just put a tiny bit of flux on there. Not on there. Burns. How about over here? That looks like a good spot. All right. Very good. And that takes care of that. All right. So this will be ready to hook back up to our lift mechanism once we get that far into the project. I think we'll end part one here on this part of the log car repair, and then we'll be back with part two, and we'll take a look at our coil and mechanism and see how all that's faring over the years.